compliment to Lamar Jackson. The other two guys, obviously Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson, that he's referring to there. So, Plaxico, who do you think has the edge, Lamar or this San Francisco 49ers defense?
I think Lamar Jackson has the edge because he's going to keep the defense on the toes. This offense is really the first time that some of these defensive coordinators are seeing this offense. So, you know, they have to, on defense, you can't really scheme it. You have to go out and react because when you're seeing it for the first time, it's explosive,
right?
And nobody has really found out a way to contain him. He's basically a matchup nightmare for defenses because what he does on defense is if the offense brings in 2 tight ends or 3 tight ends, usually the defense stays in base.
Right.
So if you stay in base and he gets out on the edge, then you don't have enough guys that are fast enough to contain him, and you know he's just a matchup nightmare.
I feel like most people associate you and you won your championship with the Giants, but you were on a 13-3 Steeler team with Cordell Stewart, right?
Which was probably the best team I ever played on.
So how much of what you see the Ravens doing with Lamar reminds you of what you guys were doing a little over a decade ago in that offense and how much problems that presented defenses?
Well, it's really a different kind of style of offense because I played in the I formation offense and you had Jerome Bettis in the backfield and you knew that he was getting the ball 30 times. So this offense is nothing like the Pittsburgh Steelers when I played in 02. You know, you just have to kind of figure out on the fly. I think the best way to contain this offense and Lamar Jackson is basically like a cover 2. And if he gets out on the edge, at least you have some corners that can come up and make some plays. But if you play man-to-man on him and the defensive backs turn their back to the wide receivers and he gets out of the pocket, before the defense recognizes it, he's 20, 30 yards downfield.
Yep.
The only thing they can do is take away the rush lanes and the throwing lanes in the middle. When we used to play Michael Vick, what we used to do is we was always, you know, give him a predictable out. Right, so we would take all our linemen, stuff them in inside gaps, flush them to one side where we can get our athletes knowing where he's going. The problem is if you just go up the field, he can come step through the lane with 4 men rushing. You know, you got 4 men rushing. They got 2 tight ends on the line. So now they have 6 lanes and 6 options for him to figure out where he's going to go. So if you have a spy and the spy is on the left side, he can exit out of the right side. So the spy isn't even helping. The problem is, like, remember when the Wildcat came and took over the NFL and nobody knew how to respond to it because for the first time, it was 11 on 11. Usually when you go against a team, it's 11 on 10 because the quarterback hands the ball off and he's dead for the play. But now they've come with so many different formations. They got gun pistol, you know, jumbo package, and they're spreading them out. And what makes it a problem is their tight ends are viable receivers. They're great receivers. So if you come out there like Plex said with this heavy package, they'll break the formation. So now you got a linebacker or a safety one-on-one on an island with a pass-catching tight end. And Lamar Jackson has improved himself since what we saw the Chargers do to him last year, meaning that he's more accurate. And that man right there, Hollywood Brown, has really made him dynamic because you have to keep a safety damn near over the top of him because he stretches the field and opens the entire playing field open.
Listen, where I'll give the Ravens immense credit is not only did they go all in on Lamar despite the rough playoff game, but they built their team with his exact skill set in mind. So not only getting Mark Ingram, but tight ends that they know can block and be big pass catchers instead of targeting, for example, Odell. You know what I mean? We need a number. We need a big.
Don't fit our style.
It doesn't fit exactly what they're trying to do, even if Odell is a higher level player than the guys they brought in because of what the versatility the tight ends add. So and that's been a huge part of their success and Lamar's success thus far this season. The reason I think San Francisco has the edge is because San Francisco can create pressure with just those 4 guys.
See, but here's the problem. Like when you say that, just like when Michael Vick was in the league, he holds your backside defensive end. He can't flatten out because if he pull it, it's barbecue chicken. And also, not only does he hold the backside defensive end, he holds the backside linebacker. Because the backside linebacker, if he keeps it, you don't want to put one defensive end in space. He'll circle the defense, and when he gets that, it's explosive offense. See, the problem is you have to predict, they say, and the best chance they have is like the Ravens did Kaepernick in the Super Bowl. Hit him every play. We're going to give up big yardage just to make sure it's not a home run and see when we get him down. I'm not saying do nothing dirty, but make sure you land. If you got to get a couple body weight penalties, then take the body weight penalties. But we're going to make him have to play left-handed.
How do you game plan Lamar more, for his throwing or for his running?
I think you have to go out and defend both because he's a quarterback first, and he makes that statement week in and week out. He's looking to throw the football.
He wants to throw
he wants to throw the football. He wants to throw the football. In the game of last week against the Chargers,
against the Rams.
Against the Rams. I saw last week a few times that they were trying to spy him with the middle linebacker, and what that does is when Lamar's in the pocket and he's not getting out of the pocket, now you lose a man in coverage. So now if you're in a 4-man front, you only got 6 guys in coverage, and you got a middle linebacker just standing in space. And
killing grass. We call it killing grass.
And he's just completing the ball over the middle for a touchdown.
And spying Lamar, especially with the linebacker, has been a fool's errand all year for the reasons you're talking about, the limitations in coverage, but also because he's a better athlete than whoever the hell your middle linebacker is.
Right.
He's going to be faster than him. He's exactly right. So that's just a wasted body. Like that is not there are certain mobile quarterbacks that spying makes a lot of sense with. You could argue, hell, the guy we saw yesterday against the Cowboys, Josh Allen. Yeah. Josh Allen's a good athlete, but your middle linebacker, if he's a good athlete, should be able to match speed with him.
Right.
So spying him makes sense. Spying Lamar is not going to be the way to beat him.
It makes no sense.
And I agree with you. He does want to throw the ball. And he has improved immensely throwing the football. But where he terrifies teams right now is with his legs and that Ravens running game, which opens up the passing game. What's incumbent upon the Niners is taking that away first. And if he beats you the way he beat Miami in Week 1 by throwing the ball all over the field, then you tip your cap. If he can throw the ball like that against a really good defense, then there is no answer for him right now.
You know what terrifies me? Jimmy G throwing into tight windows against that elite defense that have a bunch of ball hawks that not only when they get it in their hands, they taking it to the house, making house calls.
I also think you got to give the offensive line from Baltimore a lot of credit because I don't think we've seen an offensive line neutralize Aaron Donald the way that they did. I mean, they basically neutralized Aaron Donald, and they had the end line on the line of scrimmage, Clay Matthews in the Matrix. He didn't know what was going on out there.
Well, they will have the work cut out
the red
for him.
pill. Yeah. Give me the red pill. I just want to go back to the virtual world.
All right, New England Patriots. The Houston Texans, doesn't matter what year it is, doesn't matter how much optimism they got. Remember the year the Texans were, I think, the last remaining undefeated team? Yeah. They got all those fancy Letterman jackets for a nationally televised game. New England then went and whooped them and took the 1 seed right from them. Or how about Deshaun Watson, his rookie season, I think it was, early in the year, right after he takes over the starting job, drives him down the field to win the football game against New England. All you got to do is hold Brady for 60 seconds. Nope, Brandon Cooks, corner of the end zone, touchdown, good night, good luck. Yep. Or the playoff games where the Texans have been embarrassed by the New England Patriots. They can't beat these guys, and they certainly can't beat this team with this defense this year. You're right, Jenna. I do not believe the Patriots have an elite offense. I do not believe the Patriots in 2019 even have an above-average passing game. But they don't need it in this football game. The Texans' defense, by the way, 31st on third down, 32nd in the red zone, 2 spots that just kill you against a team that is as buttoned up as New England. So for all those reasons, I would be, and I'm more down on the Patriots than almost anybody.
And you're still taking the Patriots.
I would be shocked if the Texans are able to win this game.
I wouldn't be shocked, but I don't think we need to really worry about Tom Brady's elbow. I mean, time after time, when you think Tom Brady's down, he comes back and proves everybody wrong. I mean, he's been doing that for 20 years now.
Yep.
Yeah. But I put Deshaun Watson in the elite quarterback class. I believe that he's elite. But if you want to be one of the best, I think you have to prove it to yourself and prove it to your teammates and prove it to your organization. And you have, which I think, who is the best wide receiver in all of football in DeAndre Hopkins. If you want to be elite, you have to beat the best, and that's Tom Brady. So I think that they can go out and beat the New England Patriots. It's not going to be easy, but I think that they can get it done. Let
me follow up real quick. We saw Stephon Gilmore erase Amari Cooper a week ago. Just totally take him out of the game.
Right.
You had a lot of these matchups, top receiver, top corner. I thought Troy Aikman during the broadcast last week said something really interesting. He's like, this reminds me of Michael versus Deion, where this was before we knew Amari was going to get erased. He said, I'm going to throw it to him. He's going to win some. Right. He's going to lose some. My guy's going to win some. He's going to win some. How can Deshaun have more success than Amari did? And, what does it remind you of guys you went up against that you knew you were going to have your work cut out for you all day long?
I just think that, from attacking the ball standpoint and going up attacking the ball at the highest point, I just believe that DeAndre Hopkins is a better football player. He's a better athlete. He beats man-to-man coverage at the line of scrimmage. He separates well in the top of the route. And, he has that mentality that, he's a dog wide receiver. You know, he's not just one of those guys that's going to catch the ball and just slide on the ground and go out of bounds. He has a dog mentality, and he's been showing that since day one, since he got into the NFL. He's a big-time competitor, and he takes it personal when teams come up and press him at the line of scrimmage, which every wide receiver should. But to watch Amari Cooper go up against Stephon Gilmore last weekend and get shut out, for me, that would never happen. But I saw it happen, but I do think that DeAndre Hopkins is the best wide receiver in all of football.
Well, you look at DeAndre Hopkins and look at, just body type-wise, the difference between him and Cooper. He has a greater catch radius, and he's not one of these guys that depends on the yak after the yards. He's a guy that catches the ball down the field. He'll give you some yak, but he does have that dog in him. You've seen, when they've had these joint practices, him getting in fights and barking back and forth. And also, I think the difference is Deshaun Watson is willing to give his guy a chance. Dak's not a guy that's willing to give his guy a chance. He saw him covered. He didn't give him the 50-50 ball. DeAndre Hopkins has made his entire career of winning the 50-50 balls because he doesn't have elite separation. He doesn't have elite speed, so guys are going to try and challenge him at the line of scrimmage, which I think Gilmore can do, but it could also, bite you because, me playing with Plex, knowing that sometimes somebody think they can get in his chest, and they try and bully, and the bully gets bullied because if you miss or you get out physical at the point of attack, then those are big plays down the field.
One of the issues for the Texans in this specific game, I think, is the Patriots do such a great job of keeping everything in front of them, not allowing the big play. And I think Deshaun Watson will win a league MVP one day. I think he is a great football player. Right now, he has two bugaboos. One is turns the ball over a little too much, and the other is he seems to at times be more accurate on the deeper throws than the little shorter intermediate throws. Like the easier passes at times, he is not as precise with. That's all he's going to have against New England.
Right.
They're not going to let DeAndre Hopkins get over the top.
Here's the difference, right? Because, listen, this is the Bang 8 king. You want to talk about Deion, right? This is the Bang 8, intermediate 15-yard Bang 8. I watched him make Deion pull both his hamstrings on the same play against the Ravens, right? So when you think about DeAndre Hopkins, he's kind of that intermediate 15 to 20-yard guy. But they have Fuller and Stills that can run those safeties off, and you have to respect them. That's where you can either get the Bang 8 or the dagger.
Tell the audience what the Bang 8 is.
A Bang 8 is like a tight post.
It's a 7-step post.
7-step post, or you can go with the 10 to 12-yard dig after everybody clears out, which gives you an opportunity to put Gilmore on his back. And because he's so physical, because he's so big, he can put him on his back and still have that catch radius because he's a little taller than Gilmore. So, I think this is going to be a battle, and strategically, I think that it can cause some problems for that great, defense because they have those two elite. They don't have one. They have two Deshaun Watsons, essentially, that's just going to run the top of the defense off.
If you take all the players out of it, talk about the coaching discrepancy.
Oh, yeah.
Where would you even put a guy like Bill O'Brien up against a guy like Bill Belichick? Or as a player, does that not even factor into it when you get ready to take on another team?
Of course it factors in because, I played against the New England Patriots more than anybody in the NFL. One thing about Bill Belichick is that he's going to take everything away that you do well. I played him 6 or 7 times, and you're going to see something different every time that you play against him defensively. And I believe that he's going to show Deshaun Watson something different that he hasn't seen all season, and the Houston Texans are going to have to make adjustments on the fly.
Yep.
And when you go make those adjustments on the fly, it just may be too late. Right. If the New England Patriots get up 2 touchdowns, the Houston Texans will be in trouble.
That's what we always say. The Bill Belichick comes in, he takes away your weakness, and that's how they end up winning games. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.